So a constant struggle as a landscape photographer is trying to catch a sunrise, and today was one of those really annoying ones, trying to prepare. As you can see out here, the sunrise is going on here and beautiful colors. Maybe something will happen here, but it is definitely not sure. I've come out to this dolmen, which is not a real old dolmen. This one was raised in the 19th century, so it is not really one which you can say is a real dolmen. It's more like a monument. Sadly, I cannot see what kind of monument it is. What you can probably also see on this camera here is that this place is full of wee bastards, small midges, and yeah, that's why I'm looking like this, even though it's not raining. It's a little bit hard to work under these conditions. There's also full of flies because I'm out in one of the many moors in middle and western Jutland. We have quite a lot of them, and there is a lot of heather in them, so it is really nice right now because the heather is blooming. So here in the beginning, what I'm mainly aiming for is to photograph the dolmen with my 12 to 24 millimeter, get really close, get some heather in the foreground, some blooming heather, simply just to get some depth in there too. And then use the dolmen in the midground and then have the big sky, moody sky there in the top, which I think looks really, really nice. Using the sunrise colors in the sky also a little bit. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I'm walking all around the dolmen trying to find the best angles. Settings wise, it's super simple. Aperture priority f16. Depending on how close I am to the heather, I'm focus stacking. So yeah, I'm just walking around the dolmen trying to get it from different angles with different cloud formations behind it. So I have moved a little bit back, simply just to use the compression of the long lens here to catch the sunrise. So the colors are just absolutely gorgeous right now. It might be a little hard to see here in the video, but we have the sun coming up here just behind the dolmen, and then we have the clouds shifting from orange over to pink and then further over to blue. It looks really, really beautiful, and as you can see here zoomed in, it's a very simple shot. It's very minimal because it's basically just the dolmen I'm focusing on, but it looks really, really pretty. Settings wise is also super simple with this one. Again, aperture priority f9, f11-ish, ISO 100, and then the shutter speed is whatever the shutter speed is. So this is another good example where the long lens was definitely worth bringing to, even though I had in my mind that I would want to use the wide angle and catch more of the sky. Since the lighting conditions were as they were, it was obvious to go for the long lens. So right now the sunbeams are just extra extraordinary. Wow, they're beautiful. So I'm kind of like between the road and the dolmen right now. I'm all the way down low here among the heather, trying not to step on it. And that is simply just to have it as a foreground, because right now I'm shooting at 70mm to get both the sky, the sunbeams, get the dolmen, and also I want to have a little bit of the foreground here, which just makes for a much more cohesive photo where you have some kind of depth in it with the foreground heather, blooming heather, the dolmen in the midground, and then you just have these epic sunbeams in the background. Really, really nice. I like this. This was a nice surprise, better than I expected. So this kind of moorland that we have here in the middle part of Jutland, and especially in the western part of Jutland, is actually not natural. It came about back like 400-ish years ago, when the settlers out here in these parts of Denmark started to cut down all the forests and the woods. And when the earth didn't have the forests to cover for all the rain, all the good ingredients of the soil was washed away. And I think it was about half of Jutland or something like that was actually covered in landscape like this. Now you can see trees in the background, but imagine that the trees are not there and it is just heather and sand for kilometers after kilometers after kilometers. So this landscape is actually not natural. However, it has become very iconic for this part of Jutland. So our landscape societies and whatever they are called are actually putting in quite a big effort to maintain these landscapes, because as they are right now, they would actually disappear naturally as more forests have been planted. I guess that the soil is getting more rich on ingredients again, so yeah, they're going away all naturally. And I kind of like these moor landscapes, of course for the heather, but I also like the flatness. It's very iconic to the area of Denmark where I've grown up, so it's very common to me. I could get a nostalgic feeling about it, so it would be kind of sad to lose it. So it's no secret that I scouted this location yesterday, and it's always a little bit dangerous when you scout beforehand, because you come up with your preconceived ideas. That was especially what happened back at the dolmen. I tried to catch it mainly with the wide angle, but it seems as if the long lens, or at least the standard lens, worked best this morning. So right now I have moved a little bit away from the dolmen and come over to a beautiful lone tree. And again, super simple shot, lone tree straight in the middle, heather in the foreground, and the moody clouds in the background. There's not much to it. I'm focus tagging the shot. I'm shooting at f16, so I might not need to, but at least I have a shot for the very immediate foreground, and then I have a shot for the background tree there, or middle ground tree. So very simple, and yeah, I'm just playing around here, around in the heather, and try to find some different compositions. It's quite simple. I don't think I can mix it up too much, because it literally is just heather in the foreground, tree in the midground, and the clouds in the background. So I like a good road to shower storm photo as much as my next photographer, and this is good. This is turning out to be really nice. It's I keep repeating myself this morning, but it is really nice. Look at this. This is mood. So right now I'm shooting with my 24-105 and I'm just following the road into the storm right there. However, I think I might actually need to put on the 12-24 very soon. Settings wise, super simple. Again, aperture priority, f11. I'm just focusing somewhere on the road about here, and that makes sure that everything is in focus. So the last photo here did not really turn out to be anything special. The shower in the background is cool and moody, and the road leading towards it also works. However, the long line of trees simply creates one big visual wall which separates the photo in two and ruins the impact for me. On top of that, the ground next to the road is also a bit meh, and I actually think that's the same problem with the lone tree photo. If it wasn't for the wall of tall grass and the distant trees, this photo would also be much more impactful. You can't have it all. I am very pleased with the dolmen photos though. They vary quite a lot despite them being from the same sunrise. The light, the colors and the compositions all work very well. 3 photos of the same subject with 3 different lenses. There is a reason why I say you ought to cover all the focal lengths and not let the gear be your limit. In the wide-angle dolmen photo I've added a little bit of glow, as I feel dolmens have this heathen magical feeling to them. And in the 2 other photos I've removed the small tree on the right. If you want to learn to edit your photos like I do, I have released my huge Photoshop for landscape photographers course. Here I dive deep into masking, luminosity masking, dodging and burning, adding glow and atmosphere, focal length blending, focus stacking, cleaning photos and much more. I really don't hold anything back about my landscape photography editing. There are only a couple of days left to get the big release discount, so be sure to use it before it's too late. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more like this, and as always I'd highly appreciate both a like and a comment.